Random intro. Making do with what we got.
Yep.
It's not bad. I actually like it better than the one we picked.
Home Alone.
That was seriously like you're doing the monkey from Johnny Bravo. But regardless, welcome to 2 Men in a Podcast, the offshoot of Entertain This, which is brought to you by Hayden, who's not here. Say something nice to the audience, Hayden.
Thank you. Thank you very
Well done.
much.
I'm Tom, and with me I have Mitch.
I'm here again. Hey, yeah.
How are you, buddy?
I'd be better if I hadn't lost my entire notebook that had every bit of notes that I had, including the passwords and emails to all of our stuff.
If you find it, help us out. I mean, you could start bolstering up our social media. You could talk about stuff. You could put money on the account. You now know. And then you're going to be sorely upset when you look at our Patreon and realize there's no money on it. It's like finding an empty wallet on the street.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is.
It is. So let's just jump right into it with the punishment review. Mitch.
I had to watch Zoboomafoo. All one word.
Zoboomafoo. What is that?
It was like a kid's animal show, except for they had like this little puppet. It was like a lemur. But
yeah, it's one of them bouncing lemur monkey things.
Yeah, they had an actual lemur, but they decided that they just needed to use this puppet for the majority of the time.
It turned out that lemur actually was not a good actor. He was missing all of his cues, kept forgetting lines. He had a drinking problem.
He was still more entertaining
Than the people?
Yes.
I just remember, I saw the trailer on Facebook, or somebody's like, hey, do you remember this from your childhood? And I saw, the monkey bouncing around, and then I saw these two guys in, shorts and boots and shirts just come bouncing out of the woods with him doing the same thing, and I was like, I don't even know what this is, but this looks horrible. And I wrote it down, and then subsequently I got to punish you with it.
Now, the only good part about it was pretty neat to see some, because they would show animals, and they would tell some, important facts about them and stuff. That was about it. Because they used claymation. They named all the animals, one frog's name was Slimy, and yeah.
That's not a nice name for a frog.
It was dumb.
What if the frog was just sitting there ribbiting at him, and in subtitles it's just my name is Frank.
Well, because we had a short week, I only got to watch 2 episodes, which ended up being around an hour. But
that's I mean, yeah, we had to work this weekend, so that's not bad. So, did you watch it with your daughter?
No, she did not like it.
It's a kid show your kid didn't like.
I put it on. I was like, look, it's got animals. And she went, Mickey Mouse. She just looked at me dead.
She just kept saying it until you changed the channel.
She just looked dead in my eyes and went, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. I was like, all right, well, time to change it.
Now, peasant. Turn it on. Do it now.
Yeah, she was not going for it.
Was it a Nickelodeon show?
I don't know, man.
I saw the preview because there's been a lot of these on Facebook, or it's an old thing from the 90s or whatever, the late 80s, and I'll look at it and the comment will be like, "What is this and why do I remember it?" It was one of those I saw the dudes bouncing the monkey and I was like, "Why do I know this?"
Well, they had one where they had a lemur, it does its little intro and comes in, and then they feed it a banana and it turns into this puppet lemur that can talk. Yeah, don't ask my way.
I mean. I've eaten bananas in my life. I'll say that. Yeah, I'm not afraid to admit it. I've had a banana. I have not turned into a puppet that could talk.
Well, then they go on to this rant about these are animals you've seen before, and they bring in these 2 baby lions, lion cubs, and they just kind of roll around.
Did Joey Exotic bring them in?
No, they just roll.
The Tiger King Zoboomafoo.
It would have been more. It'd have been more entertaining. No doubt.
I would watch that.
But, they're just rolling around, and then they go off into a safari where, they're watching these elephants and stuff herd, to get water or whatever. And then once the lion shows up, they're like, oh, look, all the other animals disappear. It's like, no,
you should go too. It's a lion.
Well, then, granted, I don't know if the lion was actually where they were at, but then they go and they reach into the water, oh, look, we can get a sip. And they pull out just liquid mud, mud's normally got a consistency. This is just it was water, but it turned their whole hands black.
It basically just looked like if it was a cesspool dump out.
Yeah, and they're like, "Look, we can drink out of this too." And they took this filtration system that they had. And
that's cheating.
Pumping it into water. I'm thinking, I still would want to drink that.
No,
because it wasn't flowing water; it was stagnant water sitting there where elephants had been walking in there and all.
Oh God.
And then the next episode, they talk about animals from like the rainforest, which they had the frog and all sorts of stuff, and it just didn't get any better. It was like these two guys were they were the Kraft brothers, which I think they were Chris and Matt, if I remember the names correctly, and that was the same names of the.
That sounds like some '90s white guy, Nickelodeon brother names, but Chris and Matt.
They would talk, and then they'd have just like creepy facial expressions to go with whatever they're talking about. They'd be like, "This is a great animal."
Oh, like they're doing the David Blaine street magic thing?
not
like,
because
like
they were
the
like
spoof where he just goes like, "Duh," and like just stares at the camera, and the guy's like, "This is not okay."
Only problem is, I think they were serious. They were like, "This is a great animal. He really likes his lettuce." It's like, all right.
It's like, are you guys serial killers too?
It was creepy. I mean,
I saw it and I had no intention of watching any more than like the 10 seconds I made it through.
I would
on
give
the little Facebook trailer.
I would give it a 3.5 just because I think some kids would like it because it did have some cool animal facts and you got to see some of them, video of them in the wild and stuff. But other than that, like it was bad. It was rough. It was creepy. So the only reason I gave it a 3.5 is because it was educational and you got to it was pretty cool. I guess as some kids, not my daughter, she didn't care. Yeah, she loves animals.
I think at this point in time, it's just like it's Mickey Mouse or like Doc McStuffins or Peppa Pig.
Yeah,
and
pretty
that's
much.
it. Because that's what my niece and nephew, they like watching that.
Yeah.
And then I turn on like Power Rangers Megazord fights, and my nephew just sits there like drooling, just staring at the TV and doesn't blink because he's just so enthralled. And my sister's like, she doesn't know how to turn it on.
Yeah, my little girl, she'll watch them, and then my wife's like, "Why are we watching this?" She goes, "I was like, she likes it." She's like, "Please turn it." I'm like, "All right,
please change the channel." And you're just like, God, nobody lets me do anything in this house. I'm sick of it.
But it was bad, but it wasn't the worst I've seen. And I am a very good judge of character on what is bad at this moment.
Yeah, I'd say at this point you have become the leading authority on punishments, horrible medias of video games, TV shows, and movies.
Yeah. It's sad.
I'm so happy you pressed that button. For those of you who don't know, Hayden, he's not here. He hates these little edited bits like the wah wah, and he hates this the most.
But we're hilarious, right?
So when he listens to this Monday when it comes out, he's just going to be like, "I hate all of you." And for those of you who, when we did the intro and found out he's not here and just turned it off, we didn't want you listening anyway.
I like how you said that so straight-faced.
It's not hard. So another punishment in the books. I wonder who is going to get punished at the end of this episode.
I don't know. It could be anybody.
It could be one of us. It might.
Possibly.
It's not.
Probably not.
But let's move it on to our social media platforms. We stream on Twitch. Sometimes we're pretty actually bad. We're horrible at doing it at a regular basis, editing videos and putting them up. There's one on there. There's a couple of other videos we got of decent gameplay that we're going to try to put on there, and that's going to be entertain_this on Twitch. Mitch, for literally everything else, take it away.
Yeah, we're going to try and do this off of memory. It might be wrong, so you might not be able to find us.
Mitch, it's been like 24 episodes of you saying this.
Yeah, but I always had them to read, so I didn't memorize them. I just know on Facebook, it's Facebook Podcast. That. See, that's why it's already going to be bad. It's
I like how you look down at the table where your notes would normally be. It's like you're so programmed. It's just like, let me read. Oh, Nikes. I almost cursed it. I feel bad. I'm really trying hard not to because I know you have to edit, not Hayden. Because if he was here, I'd be cursing up a storm just to make him mad.
But yes, it's Entertain This Podcast for our Facebook group, and then we have Entertain This for our Facebook page. Let's see.
Then we're on Twitter.
Twitter is entertain.this.
At something?
Is
it?
Possibly.
I don't know. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're around town. We're at work.
We do have our YouTube channel, which is Entertain This. So we haven't plugged that, I don't think, the last couple of times. But if you're watching, you already know. So what's,
For a second, I was about to be like, oh, we have a YouTube page? And then I was like, oh, no, wait, I watched a couple of the videos on Friday. They actually look really good.
Yeah, we're very pristine and clear looking.
You might not want to look, but... with our liking and commenting on Facebook, we're actually going to talk about a couple of the comments from a post we did Friday.
Right.
To the 30 people who commented. Thank you to the 130 people who just looked at it. The fuck?
Hey!
That's one.
Yeah, it's I still got to figure out the program to do it.
It's like, you couldn't be bothered to drop a comment? Huh? Next time. 'Cause we know who you are. It tells us. Thank you.
Kind of.
The laugh track had no business being there.
That's okay.
Stop it. You're out of control.
That's okay. He still has to listen to it.
He still has to listen to this. We're just doing. This is what happens when you have no supervision. This is how this goes. So there's our social media platforms. If you have suggestions or stuff you want to listen to, comment on the YouTube videos. If you want to see us do stuff when we're playing Call of Duty or any other video games, because we're going to do a Trivial Pursuit stream, hopefully soon, so you can see how stupid and how little him and Hayden know. And then hopefully we can get a fourth person.
Just depends on the subject. You get up to comic book movies, I'm good.
They'll be on there, actually. So comment if you see us on Facebook, like, comment, and subscribe. If you see us on Twitch, go ahead and throw a little chat on there because we can live update and talk with you at the same time. And then you can talk trash to us about how horrible we are. Well, how horrible one person who's not here is. It's funny because he can't say anything. And there's our social medias.
In a roundabout way.
In a very roundabout way. Very generalized. Next, we should probably all have it written down just in case this happens where you lose your notes.
Yeah, I know. I have it typed up on my computer, but my computer's at home.
I'm doing like the John Travolta from Pulp Fiction, just like looking around like, well
okay.
Isn't that nice? So let's move on to news. Since it's just the two of us, we're doing this a little bit differently. We both picked two things we just wanted to talk about across, obviously movies, TV shows, and video games. Mm-hmm. So one, I read about a couple days ago. I think the last Friday when we did when we recorded the episode coming out this Monday, was Top Gear fans lost their mind because Netflix took Top Gear off of Netflix, and not any Top Gear. The Jeremy Clarkson, James May, Richard Hammond trio Top Gear seasons.
That's been off for a while, hadn't it? Like off of Netflix?
No, it was off in Netflix for America, but it was still on Netflix UK.
Okay.
And they lost their mind.
It's a great show.
Millions of comments, petitions, and all letters calls to Netflix was put it back right now. People were I was halfway through a special. What am I going to watch? The one part of the special and not know what happens, even though I already watched it 20 times? I want the second episode up.
I mean, I know they've tried with American versions and stuff. It's just not the same.
No, for those of you who don't know what Top Gear is because you live under a rock, Top Gear was a motoring magazine started in the UK in the 70s, I believe.
It's been a while.
And then it was a TV show, and it had been a TV show for a long time into the late 90s. That actually featured Clarkson and May on it several times. And then James May got fired. We don't know why. But in 2002, Jeremy Clarkson and producer Andy Willman revamped the show into what Top Gear eventually became.
Yes.
And with Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond, and then James May, who showed up in the second season. For useless trivia, if you ever get asked this question, who was the other presenter on Top Gear, the first series with the three of them? Because James May wasn't there.
I don't know.
It was Jason Daw.
Oh, okay.
And then, he was fine, but James May is just way better. And then I will say, as far as trios go, or a group of people who do a show, nobody else is funnier than the three of them.
I agree.
I will watch the three of them sit there and discuss the contents of the nutritional facts of my Red Bull.
Well,
and I will be entertained by it.
I've never been into TV car shows and stuff, and that's the first one I've watched as much as I could find.
Yeah.
So
when I was in college, because we had BBC America on our cable package, and I remember watching an episode of this show because I did Doctor Who was on or something, the David Tennant ones. I watched one of those. Top Gear came on next, and I was just like, "What is this?" 3 hours later, I was in a marathon, and I was going through Netflix trying to find all the other series so I could watch it and find out. Well, I was like, I don't know what the show is. It's about cars. These three British guys just pandering about and knocking stuff over, getting hurt, and having fun. And it was the best show until Jeremy Clarkson punched a producer in the face 5 years ago.
I was going to say, I thought that was what happened. That's why I ended it, but yeah.
Well, he actually he punched Piers Morgan in the face on the Concorde flying from London to New York.
Yeah, he had to have deserved it.
Oh, it's Piers Morgan. He probably definitely deserved it. He did deserve it.
Jeremy
Clarkson, you should go punch him in the face again.
I used to watch the world tour that they did, then they stopped.
Oh, the Grand Tour?
Or Grand Tour, yeah.
Yeah, they did 3 series. That was a good show.
Yeah.
Basically, if you like cars, you have heard of Top Gear. You have probably watched Top Gear.
If you like comedy, you should watch Top Gear.
It was also the most watched TV show in the world. or as Jeremy Clarkson, the most watched show in the world. Because he has to go in the world every single time he says something, or literally. It's that's how the English talk. But it was 350 million people worldwide watched this show, and they would go all over the country. Because in one episode they did a special where they go to Iraq. Mm-hmm. They drive through bits of Iraq. They land in Iraq and they drive through Syria, and they're like, surely nobody here is going to know who we are, what Top Gear is. And then like the next scene, it's some guy, like, a bunch of Syrian guys walk up to them and they're just like, welcome to Syria, Captain Slow. And they're shaking James May's hands.
I mean, I always loved all the episodes. Like they'd have the specials where, they had like $5,000 to spend on a car and they had to drive it 1,000 miles across China or something.
Like it was an educational show, which was ridiculous that it actually was. Because they won all these awards for it.
It's a miracle they haven't died doing some of the stuff they did.
I mean, a couple of them almost did. Because Richard Hammond, he crashed that
$1 million car,
the jet powered drag car, like called like the Spider, or something like that. Yeah. It has a very cool name, as it deserves. But he wrecked it almost 300 miles an hour.
Well, he also crashed that. I think it was like $1 million, 1,000 horsepower Tesla prototype.
Yeah, he crashed that, and then it exploded after he got out of it.
Last I heard it, it had stayed on fire for like 80 days because it was powered by lithium batteries, and they just kept exploding.
One at a time. That's all. Yeah, I remember. And then he crashed on a motorcycle. He's crashed a lot. Yeah. Hopefully he hasn't ran out of his 9 lives yet, because clearly he must be part cat. But he it was kind of funny, the story when after the fact. When he wrecks the jet car, and he's talking about it because when he blew the tire and then cut the wheel, like he actually turned off the fuel pumps that send the jet fuel to the engines to keep it from exploding. And he's like, the guy said I had the reflexes of a fighter pilot, and James May just goes, well, like a World War I biplane pilot. It's a show about 3 middle-aged guys giving each other the business.
Middle-aged, by the end of the series, they're pretty
middle-aged to old, because Jeremy Clarkson, he's 60 years old now.
Yeah.
James is almost 60. Richard Hammond's been 37 for the last 20 years because he keeps dyeing his hair.
And it's their job to drive hundreds of $1,000 cars.
Vehicles. Yeah. It's like, we're going to take the Bugatti Veyron and race the Eurofighter Typhoon. It's just like, why? But I'm going to watch.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, we're going to build a car in Mongolia and drive across the Gobi Desert. Why? Because we freaking can, and you're going to watch it. We're going to make cars into boats and try to go across the English Channel and fail epically.
Yeah, it's very entertaining, whether you like cars or not.
It's probably the most entertaining show I've ever watched.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely up there because, like I said, car shows, it's not something I would watch on TV, but I've tried to watch every season, every episode.
I would watch every episode of Top Gear UK. Not the new one now. It's trash. It's horrible.
Yeah, we're waiting for them to come back. Jeremy May and all them to come back.
They're not going to come back. Oh, they actually asked Jeremy Clarkson to come back.
They're not going to be on the new Netflix one?
The new Top Gear show?
Yeah.
The one that they started?
Yeah.
No, there's an article I read a week or two ago that they had asked Clarkson and all them to come back, but they were still under contract to the Grand Tour, and they were having way more fun doing that. So they were like, no.
Oh, wrong one. Wrong one.
Just press buttons.
Yep. That's what I meant.
Thank you, Mitch. Thank you for that. But in response to all this outcry about Top Gear being taken off Netflix in the United Kingdom, they put it back. The next day, they were like, all right, we're sorry. It's back. It's there. Please don't burn down the country. Because apparently it was a big deal over there.
Oh, I understand. I mean,
so unfortunately for us, because I tried to find it here, we can't watch it on Netflix unless you have you change the geographical location for your Netflix.
Just dumb.
It's like why?
It's Netflix.
How come they get to watch it and I don't?
Yeah,
you think I want to watch the American Top Gear?
I'm paying for the same subscription. Why can't I watch what they're watching?
Yeah, but it's poppycock, balderdash.
Well,
redonkulous.
To help with time, I'm moving on to one of my things.
Go ahead.
Which it revolves around people complaining about stuff.
I like to complain about things.
And getting what they want, no matter what.
So kids today in this day and age?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm all for the Snyder Cut, but it's
Snyder Cut.
But in reality, it's like,
why?
All these people just complained enough, and they just were like, all right, we'll make it. It's like that's a bad precedent. So now we can just complain about anything. They're like, they bow down. Okay, we'll make it.
It's like spoiled children.
Yeah.
It's like you take away the toy because it's time for nap, and they're just like, no, and they have their little meltdown. And you're just like, oh my god, here, shut up.
Well, because now they're trying to release the air cut for Suicide Squad, saying it was not the cut that he originally intended, which maybe it's not. But you can't remake all of the same movies and just add extra scenes.
I think that's a fallback thing that they're doing just because the movie sucked.
Probably.
They're like, he's just trying to save himself. He's just like, this isn't what I wanted. Here's
probably
mine.
But if these people keep complaining and complaining and complaining, I guarantee you somebody's going to make it.
It's like doing a group project and then on the side doing your own.
Yeah.
In case the group project fails miserably.
Well, yeah.
And then you could just go, well, sir, Mr. Professor, this was my original intentions and ideas, and I think you'll find it's far better than what the group had put forth.
I guarantee if you all complain enough, Robert Downey Jr. will reprise his role as Iron Man.
No, I want him to reprise his role as the guy in Tropic Thunder. That's what I want. And I want Tom Cruise to come back. I want Matthew McConaughey to throw the TiVo box and then run absurdly fast off screen.
The world is too SJW for that to happen.
I think this is what the world needs now. I think we need Robert Downey Jr.
Is it what it needs? Yes. Is it what it's going to get? Probably not.
Nope. At least it would be funny.
I just wanted to rant about that a little bit. We're in an age of day where basically for entertainment, people just complain enough and people will make it. It's like, well,
it's like with the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Yeah,
they released it. I'm sure people worked hard on it. Which, granted, they didn't work hard enough. But that's beside the point because I was one of those people. And it was just like, fix it, and we're not watching it.
Yeah,
then they were like, all right, and then they did. They actually did. They spent money and were just like, all right, here you go. And then everybody went, oh, okay. And then it actually did well at the box office.
But it's one thing to fix something before it comes out. It's another when this movie, the Justice League movie, had already released. And now we're going to go back and remake it and just change the scenes. Mm-hmm. It's like, I mean, I'm excited to see it, but at the same time, it's like, all these people do is just complain for 3 years and, all right, well, we're going to take this movie and we're just going to edit the bits to where it's a little different. I mean,
I've been complaining about the Hobbit trilogy since it came out, and they haven't redone it.
Maybe you need to start a hashtag.
Hashtag fix it.
Yeah.
Peter Jackson. You know what you did. I don't know how he can look at himself in the mirror after that nonsense.
What was J.R.R. Martin?
J.R.R. Tolkien.
No, Tolkien. Which one's the...
Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Oh, George R.R. Martin.
George R.R. Martin.
I think that's the thing of being a fantasy writer. You have to have your first name, or you have to have a very long series of initials, at least 3, and then your last name.
If we complain enough, can we get a new last season of Game of Thrones?
You know what? At this point, I don't even want it. Don't even want it. The taste is still bad in my mouth.
I mean, I'm just saying, if it works for other stuff, let's complain about it.
Might as well.
If you complain enough, we'll replace Hayden. Oh, look at there.
I'm surprised you got the button right this time.
I memorized. It just takes a minute.
Maybe some little sticky notes that just say what it is. Or something, some little sticky tape with a little letter.
Anyways, continue with yours.
I do have another bit of news because Hayden's not here and he hates Godzilla. We're going to talk about it. Godzilla, the King of the Monsters movie, they released a post-credit footage that shows... Well, because they showed in the movie the... Japanese twins. Well, it's the same lady who plays 2 different people, but
the ones that are involved with Mothra.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they actually show them like as the twins, or whatever, because they allude that like their whole family like was female twins, was predominant.
Okay.
And then at the end, they meet up and they go to a location that has a Mothra egg, and start singing to it, and it starts pulsating blue and all that stuff.
But Mothra was in the last movie, right?
Yeah, Mothra died.
Okay. I didn't know it died. I
saving it.
Okay.
Yeah, because
I've only seen the movie once. I remember it was in it. But.
Yeah, because Mothra like pierces Rodan through the chest.
Oh, okay.
And he drops, and then Mothra sacrifices herself at King Ghidorah, and then like the sparkly crap falls from the sky onto Godzilla, and then he goes like thermonuclear, and buildings are melting.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which was so cool to watch. Hayden, I don't understand why he doesn't like it. But Godzilla, it's a movie about a big monster fighting another big monster and breaking a lot of stuff.
I mean, really, unless you just don't know what the characters are, like the monsters, the only time you need people is just to say, hey, this is that person.
To point at the sky and go, Godzilla! And then, knocks the building over. Because that's all I want to watch.
I just want to watch a little mindless violence. That's all.
So it would appear that, obviously, Mothra's alive, or there's going to be another Mothra. And then, I don't know if they're going to have that appear in Godzilla vs. Kong, set to come out.
I don't know. I'm still confused on how King Kong's going to grow to the size of Godzilla.
Well, what,
I mean, I know he's been progressively getting bigger.
That movie Kong Skull Island, that took place in like the 60s because that was, Vietnam era guys or whatever. So, 50 years later, I imagine because they released a photo and basically him and Godzilla looking each other in the eye.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a big monkey. That is a very large monkey.
It's a large monkey.
It's like his poop must be massive. I do want that as a scene. There's 2 scenes I want to happen in a Godzilla versus Kong movie. I want Kong to crap into his hand and just peg Godzilla in the face with it, and then watch him with his tiny T-Rex hands try to wipe it out. And then I want like Godzilla to have the reaction of humans, like walking through the city or whatever, destroying stuff that people have when they almost step on a bug.
Oh,
like he's it'd be almost as different size. Like he's just walking, he's just like, oh god, what? And like a plane comes by, he's like, like a moth or something coming at him. Yeah. I think that would just be like a stupid bit where he's just walking, sees somebody, and he just goes like, huh, all of a sudden, and then but it's so loud, all this glass shatters because he's the sound waves. But that was all the news I had.
Okay, well, we'll move on to my other. I did a review this week of The Old Guard, which came out on Netflix. It's the Charlize Theron, where she's like an immortal warrior.
Yeah, we talked about that. I brought that up as an upcoming thing.
Yeah.
So, actually, I think it's breaking Netflix records right now.
Yeah, it's one of the top ones. Like I think it's one of like the most streamed movies that they've had right now.
Really? Because it's based on a comic book series, right?
Yes. I want to say there's 4 comics of it at the moment, and they don't come out like once a month like most do.
Come out like once every couple of years.
I don't know for sure. I just know there's only 4 of them so far, but they've been out long enough to make a movie. The first one came out around the time that the Atomic Blonde that Charlize Theron filmed.
Yeah, I know they're fairly recent.
Yeah, so it's only like a few years old.
Yeah,
but there's 4 comics, so. And Netflix is already.
Are they like kind of like the graphic ones that are like a bit thicker?
I think so. I haven't read one of them, but I know Netflix is already working on a second movie because of the I guess success of this one so far.
Yeah,
and it's like I say, it's 4. And the first comic is like the first movie. So,
so hopefully there'll be a couple spinoffs.
But I mean, after watching it, it's if you like John Wick, I think you would like this. It's that kind of quick, close quarter. Gunfights and all that stuff.
Do they do the shaky cam? When they're fighting?
In a very limited degree. Like, I mean, it's almost like I guess because of the chaos of the scene, it's not like a point of view kind of thing. It, I mean, you can see them fighting and stuff, but it's not too bad. But it's pretty neat where John Wick is predominantly like a knife or a pistol. Mm-hmm. Well, in this one, like if it gets close quarters, because they're immortal warriors and they've lived thousands of years, they pull out a battle axe or a sword.
That's cool.
Because like one or two of the guys are from the Crusades. Charlize Theron's character is from. She's called something the Scythian, so she's at least 23,000 or 2,300 years old.
So is she from like ancient Greece or something?
I don't know where they're from. I just know
that sounds like a Mediterranean kind of deal.
But I just know that she's one of the oldest ones because something happens. It doesn't really explain in the movie how they or why they become immortal, but like the character will die, and then after that death, they come back to life, and from that point forward, they're immortal. And it doesn't explain why. So I'm assuming that future movies will explain. But it's pretty good. It was really interesting to see that like they did the Wolverine like healing factor. Like
okay,
if it's a killing shot or whatever, they'll fall down dead, but then they just heal and come back. But if they get shot in the arm or whatever, they just kind of heal back up.
Is it like quick like Wolverine or
yeah?
Is it like
yeah. If it's not a killing shot, they'll be getting shot and they'll just keep fighting. So.
What a lucky privilege that must be.
So you've got 5 immortal warriors just fighting with guns and all sorts of stuff.
So are they like mercenaries or something? Or
yes.
Oh, of course they are.
They get paid to do a job.
Of course they are.
But nobody knows that they're immortal other than them. Like they've kept it secret throughout the years, at least so they think.
I kind of want to see them fight the 300 just so I can hear Gerard Butler go, "We put their name to the test." That was a great movie, though. I'm going to have to check out The Old Guard because I saw some trailer, whatever, when Netflix was going to come out. Because we talked about it a couple episodes ago. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that looks pretty neat. And then I didn't know you had watched it. Or no, I didn't know you watched it.
Yeah, I just watched it between our last recording and today, so.
I'm going to have to check that out on Netflix.
Yeah, I mean, it was really good. I was kind of surprised because, I mean, Charlize Theron's the only really known actor in it.
Yeah.
But it was really good, I thought.
What would you rate it?
Probably maybe 7.8.
A 7.8.
Like it's not quite like, really like to the level of like some of the Avengers movies, but it's or like John Wick, but it's better than normal, I would say. It's hard to describe.
It's hard to beat
really
John
good.
Wick though.
Yeah.
John Wick is the way of life.
If it had a more supporting cast for Charlize Theron, I think it would have been better. But for what it was, I think it was
Well, I
really
imagine in the next ones, I guess as they introduce new characters, probably going to get a little bit more bigger name talent.
Probably.
To come in and play those
Especially
roles.
as like the villains and stuff, because because they're immortal, the good guys pretty much stay the same. But it's
I imagine there's some immortal bad guys.
Well, so far they only know of 5 immortals, and because there's a girl that becomes an immortal right at the beginning of the movie, but she's like the first one in 200 years that's become immortal. So they only know of 5, and they haven't revealed of any others. So.
I'm gonna have to watch this this weekend.
But yeah, it was really good. I liked it. So.
Well, nice. There's an actual review. I was surprised we actually had that.
And I didn't spoil it.
You didn't? No, you did not. I'm so proud of you.
I made sure to curve the things I was thinking
that's not
about.
the one I wanted. No, damn it. Damn it. Damn it.
Hey! Too bad I got to cut out half of that. Or beep half of
God damn, it's not a curse word.
it is now.
No, it's not. It's not. It's just not.
It might not be for this podcast.
It's like, what's next? You guys going to shoot me when I say the word bicycle? It's like, how dare you?
Well, maybe you get a reprieve because I'm probably not going to edit all that.
No, it's not a curse word.
This will be the explicit content.
Yeah. Just put the parental advisory warning that they put on like record albums or something like that. And just there you go. That's for you.
That's probably how it's going to go. Just saying.
We're going to move on to our next bit, which is a compare and contrast of 2 of the probably most popular Battle Royale games that are out there. PUBG
and
Warzone.
Yeah. Which one do you think is better?
Dun, dun, dun. No. Yeah, well. Actually, that works. PUBG and Warzone.
Or it's more PUBG. No, wait. Warzone
Yeah.
and PUBG.
That's PUBG now, yeah.
Yeah.
So, in the early days of Battle Royale, when there was just 2, there was PUBG and there was Fortnite.
Yeah.
Fortnite was for little kids and losers.
Still is.
Yeah. For those of you who just turned it off, don't care. I'm not friends with you anyway. And then PUBG, which was the more realism one, based at the time.
Yes.
You had to pick up weapons, you had to load the weapons, you had to pick up attachments, armor, all this other stuff. Which there was a degree of that to Fortnite, but it was very cartoony and I guess more friendly to kids, even though you were shooting people in the face.
Yeah. If I'm gonna play a shooter, I like to play more grounded in realism kind of stuff.
Yes, as well as I do. I do kind of miss the honor system that was once in PUBG. And for those of you who were just like, the honor system in PUBG, here's what I mean. In PUBG, when I first started playing it, when it first came out on consoles, like you'd be running, to the zone, to the circle.
As the blues closing
in, and you'd see 20 other people running out of the woods. And nobody would shoot at each other. Nobody would throw a grenade. Nobody would do anything. Nobody would try to run you over.
They would break for that line.
Everybody would run for the line. Once the line was crossed,
free for all.
But there was very much like an honor system about it.
Yeah.
And like to win in PUBG was like a big accomplishment to get the chicken dinner. Because at the time it was like, oh my God, there's 100 people and you're playing, solo. Because I think solo was the first big to do.
Yeah.
And then they introduced duos, quads, and I think trios.
Yeah, I think so.
Something like that. But it was a very fun game until they started going overboard with what they were doing because it became Fortnite light.
Yeah. Well, and then they never fixed anything. They just
the controls were horrible. But it was like you had to just tap the trigger to ADS. It was very blocky. It was kind of the controls were very stiff.
Yes.
It was not smooth to run. And then they updated a couple times and it got a little better. And then it just went off the rails. They never did anything else with it. So
they got to where they would add different guns, they would add new maps, but they would never fix the controls. So
they never fixed the controls, never fixed the gameplay, never fixed settings. It was just the same clunky crap, just with different places to go. And we still played it.
They added the parkour stuff where you could jump and grab a ledge and stuff, but it was so out of whack that it was pretty much hard to do.
The mechanics were not good.
You didn't want to use it if you were already in a gunfight.
Yeah, you might as well just blow your own brains out instead of letting that guy do it for you. And then, the loot boxes. That was a game that took that hard.
Yes.
I mean, the loot crate system went out of control.
Although Warzone wants you to buy a lot, too.
But you don't have to.
True.
You don't need it. It's not dependent on you winning.
Yeah, at least in Warzone, what you buy, you can see what you're buying.
Yes, versus you spending all this game credit you built up over months.
Yeah, to get 5 pairs of the same shoes.
Freaking shirt. I got 20 blue T-shirts in that game. I own more blue T-shirts in that game than I do in real life.
Yeah, I mean, I had these pair of sandals that I got every time, and it's why do I do this?
And then you'd spawn the game, and you see the guy running around like the Western Duster, and he has the full mask on and the helmet, and all this, and you're just like,
I want that.
You just stare at him with this face, and you're just like, you son of a fuck. I can't wait to.
You're standing there in your flip flops, pink tank top.
Yeah, I got my pink fuzzy turtleneck tank top on, my booty shorts, my boots, my stupid cowboy hat, running around like a stripper, and then this guy's hiding in the bushes in a ghillie suit that he automatically spawns with, and then blows my brains out as I walk by because I can't see him. It was dumb.
And that is one thing. The ghillie suits in that game do make you invisible
to a degree.
If you don't move,
that game didn't render.
Well, yeah,
past 200 yards.
Yeah.
Now, so if you were further than that, you could see the person just laying there on. It's basically a sheet of green, and the guy laying on it. Yeah. And then as you got closer, the foliage would render, and then you couldn't see him, and then you'd be you'd see somebody, hope they didn't see you until they got closer, and then you have to shift just in case that they did, and then you could kill them if you had a suppressor.
I mean, if you walked up on somebody with a ghillie suit, you could step on them and never notice them unless they moved.
No, not at all. Because I would get the ghillie suit, I would drop my backpack, I dropped my second weapon, I would keep a suppressed, basically the M4. I think it had a different name in the game or a different whatever series of numbers and letters.
Yeah.
Words. I would drop that, so you just couldn't see me. It's just you're just there, and that was the first game where crouching in the bush.
Oh yeah, I did that.
Was a legitimate strategy. It's something that you try to do in Warzone.
It still works some. I've had people step in front of me and I just assassinate them. So
it is fun to do that. But then PUBG came out years ago, and then the battle royale phenomenon is really took off.
Yeah.
With that and Fortnite, which is horrible, and we're not going to talk about it. Because Apex Legends was next.
Yeah, I tried
that. And that
was
a free game.
Yeah,
that game picked up a lot of traction. That game has a good following. I don't know about it right now. I mean, with all the other ones that have come out. And then Black Ops 4 had theirs.
Black Ops 4 had one?
Yeah, you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I do remember that. Okay, yeah, I played that one, yeah.
That one, I mean, I didn't like Black Ops 4 just because when I play Call of Duty, I don't want this future Halo jumping around mech suits nonsense, shooting stuff out of wrist gauntlets like I'm Boba Fett.
Yeah, I did not enjoy that one.
And then we had Warzone, which was everything PUBG should have been.
Yes.
With extras.
The only thing I still think is bad between the two of them is the hit detection and the consistency of damage.
Yeah, because there's all sorts of different multipliers that you get for headshots over various distances, chest shots over distances. Certain attachments will change it.
If I shoot you with a 50 cal rifle, 50 caliber bullet, in real life you don't even have to hit the person. If you're close, it would rip an arm off because of the velocity.
Yes.
And here, I shoot people 3 times in the chest just to knock them to the ground.
And they shoot you once in the face with a 9mm, and that's it. It goes through your eye socket, scrambles your brain, and your character's just done. And I'm in a house somewhere else going, and you're like, "How are you down? Why are you over there?" Here's how it is playing with him and Hayden. It's like herding cats. Because we try to be tactical. I try to tell them we mark stuff because that was the thing. Well, you could do that in PUBG. You could mark stuff.
Yeah.
You could mark things on the map, and you could or you could only mark on the map. You couldn't do it live while you were running around.
Right.
So you could do it in Warzone, and you could mark targets. You just double tap up on the D-pad, and then they turn red.
Yeah.
So and then it'll track them until they go out of eyesight. And I'll do that. I'll be like, "Oh, there's a guy here. There's a guy in green marker. Guy over here. I got a squad over here." And it's we're gonna push up this way and flank. And then I
Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, one of them just comes running out in the middle of an open field with a shotgun, shooting at somebody 300 yards away, going, "I don't know why I can't hit him." And then the other one gets blown up. I'm still in cover, and they're like, "Revive me!" And they're in the middle of an open field. There's snipers shooting at them from all directions, and I'm like, "No, I'm not coming out there. You guys are on your own. You guys made your own bed. You lay in it."
I'll be honest. A lot of times, Tom, he's fine on his own. If Hayden runs off, I'll try and go with him just so there's.
You're like a chaperone.
I'm trying to help.
It's like we're both gonna die together.
Because Hayden, the guns. We love you, Hayden. But
yes, this isn't the Rag on Hayden podcast, but kind of is just because he's not here and he can't contest any of it, so that's why it's funny.
He loves to use this shotgun sniper
rifle, which is great for great distance or 2 feet in front of him.
But
nothing in between.
Everything in between, you might as well be throwing gravel at him.
Yeah, and we tell him that, and he just goes, well, that's why I have you two.
That's not the way it works.
That's not the point. You have to be because half the time, sometimes me and him will go down, killing scores of people, and he's the only one left. And he's just like, there's a guy, and he's just shooting with the wrong weapons, and then he gets killed. He goes, I don't know what happened. This game's broken. Every time.
Yeah. But I'll give it to Hayden. He is good with those weapons.
Oh, he's gotten a lot better. He has gotten a lot better. He's actually pretty good now.
I mean, he's good.
He's ranked in what? Did he crack the top 50% worldwide?
I think he was like in the top 45 or something like that. Now.
And you're in the what now?
I'm in the top 23.
I'm in the top 8% worldwide.
Shut up. You couldn't do it without us.
I have done it without you.
Shut up.
You've watched it where the two of you were dead and it's all on me.
It happens.
That's actually on our Twitch channel. You can watch that video.
And we're going.
Saying this, Sauron carries the team for the win. The two of them are dead and in trios, and I run train and carry the team to victory at the quarry. Yeah, because somebody had to.
Me and Hayden are standing to the side with pom poms. Go Tom! Go Tom!
Back to comparing and contrasting Warzone and PUBG because we're getting off topic. Warzone is probably the best battle royale game I've played.
Yes.
I've played Fortnite when it came out and I did not like it. Played PUBG, liked it. We got a lot of wins playing.
Yes.
With people we work with who were about the game. Didn't really care for Apex Legends. Wasn't my style.
Right.
Didn't really care about. There's another one that's out too. I can't remember what it's called. It came out before them.
I have no idea.
Hayden would know if he was here. I'm not even going to text him and bother him because I don't even know what he's doing. So there was that one, and then Black Ops 4, and then Warzone.
Yes.
And Warzone, it's free, which is amazing for a Call of Duty game. But, there is, I don't know if I want to say loot crating in that game.
That's what I mean.
You can buy. It's stuff you can just buy. Kind of. It's not really what you want. There's certain packages like for operators, different skins for operators, weapon camos, blueprints for stuff if you haven't unlocked it. So you play, you get the cop points. You can get that stuff, but a lot of stuff you play with in the game that drops on the ground that you pick up initially, the floor spawns. You rank up, so you can eventually start generating your own stuff. So you have to keep playing to upgrade everything and max and level out the weapons.
But see, the difference between that and PUBG, though, at least in Warzone, when you're adding these attachments and everything to your guns, you know what it's improving. Whereas in Warzone, I mean, you have an idea of what it would improve, but you don't know specifically because there's there's no chart that kind of tells you what's going on, what you're building towards.
Because that was the thing about PUBG. Like, you picked up the weapon, and that was it. There was no, and then you just looked for attachments.
Yeah.
And hope for the best. Basically, a sight to make it easier to see further, and a suppressor to be quiet.
Yeah.
Or a bigger mag.
Pretty much, yeah.
That was basically it. And there were certain weapons you shied away from, like nobody really wanted the Tommy gun because you knew you weren't going to find all the attachments to give it the 50-round drum and the foregrip and the suppressor.
The Tommy gun is what I would hold on to in the very beginning when I'm still looking for
that was the I'll use this for now.
Well, just because it's got a big magazine, so when we're landing, everybody else still has a pistol. Yeah,
like the Vector in that game, hunk of crap.
Yeah,
I'd rather punch somebody in the face than use the Vector in that game.
Unless you can get a extended mag, then it was all right at a time. I remember at one point I took out a team of 3.
The Uzi was the UMP way better.
Yeah,
and then the Scar, the Car 98.
I like the Car 98 the most.
The Car 98 with the 4 times and the suppressor, making it rain. And then, but like that was it. Like it was just that base weapon. You picked up attachments just to improve it for your game. Versus Warzone, where you can loadout drops spawn in the game at I think the second circle.
I think so.
I think it's the first 5 minutes in the game, and then 10 minutes after that, because they'll do them towards the beginning of the game, like just after the first circle.
Yeah, and
then right towards the end. But you can, if you have customizable loadouts, you could pick whatever weapons you want, whatever attachments you put on them, perks,
thermal sights, all sorts of stuff.
Thermal sights really kind of went away, though.
I mean, they're good at the beginning, but then once people start getting their loadout,
once they get ghost, there's no point anymore, which is kind of why I shot away from it.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even use the sights really anymore.
I don't,
except on like 1 or 2 weapons.
The guns that I normally get don't have sights. I get the growl, and it has the laser sight, but that's just to add up the accuracy and stuff. So,
one thing I will say, as far as pacing for the game, PUBG was a very slow game.
Yes.
If you didn't land at like George Pool or the mansion,
right,
or farmland, or I used to remember all the damn cities. Now I can't.
I mean, you could loot, or you could land in PUBG, loot for 10 minutes, and never see another person until that final circle.
You can go half an hour without seeing a soul, not hear a vehicle, not hear anybody's footsteps, just happen to be passing like strangers in the night. It could be you and 3 people left in the game, and you're like you're laying there prone in a field, and then you get your brains blown out, and that's it.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I didn't even see anybody. I don't know what happened.
That's because you thought you were hidden, but that guy 500 meters away.
But you're wearing your freaking pink sparkly tank top turtleneck, and you're just sticking out like a sore thumb.
Yeah. So,
But Warzone, I mean, the map is smaller than the one in PUBG. There's a lot more mode of transportation. Now, you have helicopters, jeeps, RVs, quads, the big trucks.
When it comes to transportation, I mean, it is cool to have the helicopters and stuff, but I still feel like driving around is more practical in PUBG, just because I feel like the mechanics of driving is more realistic.
It was more fun.
Well, that in Warzone, if you turn, you press to turn right, you're gonna immediately 90-degree right, just about, for most of the vehicles.
Yeah, it's very. I think they probably did it on purpose.
They're very clunky.
Yes, and then the one thing I like about Warzone, when you hit somebody with the vehicle, you actually down them. Versus in PUBG, I hit a guy 6 times with the Dacia, doing 110, launched him over a mountain range, and he chipped a nail. That was about it. I don't know if you were playing with me when that happened.
I don't remember.
No, I know one of our friends was, and he probably knows exactly what I'm talking about because he was yelling at the time, screaming, and he wasn't even the one driving.
Now, I can't do it on Warzone, but I remember on PUBG, if you were playing solos or whatever, I could be driving, somebody would start chasing you in their own vehicle, just switch to the back seat, turn around, start shooting them, switch back to your driver's seat, and take off after you'd already killed them.
You can do that in Warzone.
You can't. Well, I haven't done it. It's a little harder to do because your vehicle slows down a lot faster.
Yeah, that's true. Which is another point of contrast.
Yeah.
But as far as aside from the driving, but the gameplay action in and of itself, with running, being in combat with other players, it's very fast. It's very scary because PUBG was very cat and mouse.
Yes,
it was like there was a lot of tactical aspect to that game that a lot of people did.
Yeah,
I mean there is in Call of Duty, but it's much quicker.
I mean PUBG, you can hide and wait for somebody to walk in, and if you're hidden, you're pretty much going to win. Mm-hmm. Whereas in Warzone, you have different attachments and different things that can help you out. From
2 flashbangs will come through the door. They'll break open the door. They'll run the other side of the house, crawl them through a window that's already broken out. You won't hear them, and then they'll shoot you through the wall because they're hacking because they're on PC. And then you'll die, and then that's it.
Well, there is that.
and it's like, done.
Yeah. There is the PC hackers that, are too afraid to play like a grown man. So
those bums. But I think Warzone is probably at right now the most popular battle royale.
Oh yeah, without
across all of them. Because I don't know what PUBG's retention rate was for players or for what their online traffic is for the servers, but I think Warzone's dominating right now.
Yeah, and then granted, it's satisfactory to win in either one.
Yes,
but on Warzone, when you see yourself getting hauled out by the helicopter, your name scrolled across, everybody has to watch it, and you just see the list of dead people.
Yeah, I like the in memoriam thing. That is funny because they didn't do that in
Bless you.
PUBG.
Just for you, Hayden. Random laugh track. What the heck?
Little Johnny tried to cook the turkey in the dishwasher. It's like that classic 80s, just like cutaway. He's going to get so mad. Actually, he's not because he's going to be... I know exactly what's going to happen. He'll talk about it in the next episode. And be like, oh, yeah, you guys going off doing your nonsense? He goes back. Here, I don't have to edit it.
Yeah.
That's going to be it. You mark my words. So there's a compare and contrast of 2 very popular, one once popular, now ruined, and one very current popular battle royale games with PUBG and Warzone.
Yes.
And now we're going to move on to a different segment. Reviews of nerdy toys. Damn it. Damn it. Yeah, it's that one. It's that one. Yellow is the applause. So, in keeping with the themes of movies, TV shows, and video games, for those of you who have lived under a rock and do not know what Star Wars is, there's a series of lightsabers they released, the very nice ones. The ones that came out, probably started coming out about 10, 15 years ago with the prequel trilogy before it was ruined by Kathleen Kennedy and Rian Johnson. They know what they did. They should be tried for war crimes or something. Something
violently punishable.
Somebody throw a tomato at somebody. But they started coming out back then. They were the really nice metal-handled ones, the cool-looking ones with, like, you know, you press the button and you watch it light up from the bottom and go all the way to the top of the blade, and then when you turned it off, it went the other way.
Right.
You know, like a normal one. That cost a lot of money, and at the time, none of us could afford. Because you'd see them at the store and be like, oh. And they have, like, the one you could just kind of play with in the store, and, like, everybody would hold it, and the kids would be like, oh, my God, this is so much better than the one you had to go, like, whoosh, and, like, have, like, extend out because the blade was cut into pieces.
Some of us still can't afford them. Just saying.
So, anyway, I did buy one, and it was a re-release. This is actually a bit of, I guess, consumer almost advice in the memorabilia buying category for movies. Was 15, 17 years ago, they did the release for Count Dooku's lightsaber, played by Sir Christopher Lee, who's actually a useless trivia segment for a moment. Christopher Lee was offered the role of Grand Moff Tarkin in the original Star Wars and turned it down, and then suggested Peter Cushing, who took it because the two of them were best friends. And then when the movie came out, he was like, damn. He's like, crap, that could have been me.
I never thought this random sci-fi adventure would be popular.
But I thought it worked out great because he ended up playing Count Dooku, who is my favorite Sith Lord.
Okay.
I mean, it's Sir Christopher Lee. He's the most interesting man to ever live.
I mean, I'm predictable. I like Darth Vader.
Yeah, this guy, he was in Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. Both has a back.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that,
yeah. Also, useless trivia, J.R. Tolkien wanted him to play Gandalf if they were going to do a movie. Because he was the only person associated with the Lord of the Rings who had met him before he died. And like actually like met him, like they would talk to each other all the time.
Oh, cool.
So that's more useless trivia. But anyway, the Count Dooku lightsabers came out years ago, and you try to find them, the Force FX series ones, and they would be like $1,000 now, or they were a couple months ago before the second reissue of them. But like the original releases of them, I mean, they went from being like $150 at the time, maybe $200, to being $1,000, $1,200 for ones that hadn't been opened, maybe $800 for one that was used. So it was, I mean, it's crazy how, like, you know, something comes out, it's a toy, you know, you're not really expecting, and then, like, you know, years down, you know, not that long down the road, it's just like, oh yeah, we're not making it anymore, and everybody's just like, well, I want that one. They're just like, well, give me $500 and it's yours. It's like, but it's worth $150. Yeah, but you don't have it, and I do. Yeah. Give me the money, or you're not getting it.
I understand that problem.
So in December, they were announced, because they have really been revamping it, especially because of the new trilogy. Releases of other lightsabers like Mace Windu's. They just did Kit Fisto's, Darth Revan, which, I mean, he's not canon in any of the movies.
But he's still one of the best.
He's still the coolest one, aside from Darth Vader. And then Count Dooku. So I bought it on pre-order. It was $214, which it still is now on Amazon if you want to check it out. If you have any of these, the Force FX Black Series Count Dooku lightsaber.
I'll find a way to put a link in the bottom of the description. So
yeah, if you don't know who Count Dooku is, it's obviously played by Sir Christopher Lee. He appears in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith before he gets beheaded by Anakin Skywalker.
You spoiled it.
It came out like 15 years ago. Hey, did you know we won World War II? What else? Huh?
Just saying.
What else do you want me to spoil?
Just saying.
Hey, I read the Bible. I peeked at the end. The devil did it. There you go. There's another spoiler. But the lightsaber quality, as far as it goes, Saber Forge, I think, does a better job.
I don't know the difference.
Okay.
Just saying, I don't know the difference.
So for, like, you know, the lightsaber community, because there's a really big following for that, especially it's Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to own one. I just don't know the difference.
And people there's custom ones that get made, because Saber Forge, Ultra Saber, they all do them, and Saber Forge does their movie copies. Mm-hmm. They're not, I don't think, completely perfectly accurate.
Okay.
But they're very, very close. And as far as, like, because, you know, like, certain ones, they have, like, you know, very narrow features of as far as, like, you know, the cylinders for the lightsaber.
Yeah.
like, they're designed to not have, obviously all these components in them in the movie because it's just the handle with a stick, and then they go back with computer editing and make it look all cool.
Yeah,
because it's the coolest weapon of all time. So the Force FX lightsabers, the hilts for the lightsabers are thicker than they are in the movies.
Okay.
Just because it's housing sound components and all this other stuff and electronics. So the Count Dooku one, it's a bit thicker than the one in the movie at certain parts, but it's hefty. It's very nice. It's fun to play with. Actually, I don't think there's a person alive if you left the person alone in the room, no matter what they say, you just left them alone in the room, and there's just like nobody would know, and there's just a bunch of lightsabers on the ground. They would pick one up, turn it on, and pretend they were a Jedi. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how old you are, because the mall drawer is a store called Think Geek. They have them. I've gone to that store a couple times. I've seen old people fight with them. I've seen little kids fight with them. I've seen girls pick them up and start swinging them around and knocking crap off the shelf. It doesn't matter how old you are. It's the coolest thing to do. It's just like if you pick up, and people, it makes the noise for you, but people still do it. They go. It's like you can't help yourself. It's like as soon as you pick it up, you're like, I'm Luke Skywalker.
I have the power.
Yeah, it's basically like being He-Man. So I bought it. It's very, very cool. It's worth the money before it jacks up in price, and it's worth $5,000 in 20 years. So it's kind of one of those things based on the previous release and a new one now, because it's only X amount of numbers that they're going to release and have already. Pick it up because you never know. Even if you got $200 laying around and you're thinking, hey, I wonder what this will be worth, because just going on eBay and seeing what the original runs were worth, and because they're going to discontinue them eventually, because they've just been running through them in series and they discontinue them because. They actually had Obi-Wan's Phantom Menace lightsaber before he got the other one for Return of the Jedi and then into A New Hope. Mm-hmm. That one was because the selling price is like something like $130 to $150 depending on the stores.
Okay.
And I saw on Amazon when I looked, and it was $500.
Jeez.
And then
it's a lot of money.
The other one, the Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan Kenobi lightsaber, is worth $4,000. And our friend Pez, he bought one a year and a half ago for $130 at Target. It's $4,000 now. So you might want to get on that train and check it out.
Where's Pez live?
I'm not telling you because I don't remember his address. So I mean, they're very cool. A lot of stuff and toy memorabilia. If you have some cool stuff that's actually worth something you want to share with us, and we can be like, hey, check this out, or have some advice about it, we'd be more than happy to talk about it on the show if Hayden lets us when he comes back. Or we'll just have to wait until he goes on vacation.
If we continue this segment.
If we continue it. So check it out. If you liked it, tell us you liked it. If not, and you never want to hear us talk about this kind of stuff again, you're more than happy to, write that message down a brick, on a piece of paper, tied to a brick, and throw it through his front window.
Yeah, Hayden's.
Yeah, not mine. His address.
Not mine, Hayden's.
It's like, here's his address. No, we can't edit that in. You'd actually be mad. But as far as making stuff,
how am I supposed to take it out?
You're not going to be able to put it in.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
So what do you have in this department?
Well, I like to collect comics. And with so many superhero movies and TV shows coming out, there's a lot of comics that, they were cheap. Mm-hmm. And because of like a certain character being introduced or whatever, they go up in price. Like they have Avengers number 196. It's the first appearance of Taskmaster, which I'll have pictures of him at the bottom of the screen as I'm talking about him. But the first appearance of Taskmaster, he's going to be like one of the main villains for the Black Widow movie.
Okay.
Like right now, when it was announced, his comic was probably worth about $100. It's gone up to $125 now. Once the movie comes out, the price that it'll be worth probably go up a little more.
Probably I imagine projected to go up probably about another to like 150.
Probably
Ish.
so. Yeah.
Ish.
And if you have them, they have different companies that'll preserve them in like a hard plastic case that they grade them or whatever.
Yeah.
Those are worth even more. So I mean, this is just if you just have the individual comic, it's in the little plastic wrap or whatever, it's worth around $125 if it's still in good condition.
Mm-hmm.
The next one I have is HBO Max. I've talked about it before. They're having the Justice League Dark TV series.
Yeah.
Well, I bought the Justice League Dark comic, I guess maybe a few months ago. I got it for like $8. Right now, it's worth $15. But once they start announcing these characters and when it's actually going to come out, I imagine it will go up because this is the Justice League Dark number 1, which came out I think 2011.
Okay.
It's the very first incarnation in all of DC history of them actually having a team of like the magic users and stuff. So I would assume that
This
it's
is
going
like
to go up.
this is like the stock market for nerds.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's like, oh, are you gonna buy U.S. Steel? You're gonna get put stock in Ford or GM. It's just like you're gonna buy that Justice League Dark. Are you gonna buy that Power Rangers Legacy Morpher? You gonna buy that lightsaber?
I'm just saying it.
You never know what's gonna go up and what's not.
Then we have there's going to be a Green Lantern TV show for HBO Max.
Is Ryan Reynolds gonna play him?
No.
Damn.
They supposedly like the main characters like Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, Kyle Rayner, and Guy Gardner. If any of you know who those are, they're going to exist in the world, but they're going to focus on these two newer Green Lanterns that'll be like the main characters, which is Jessica Cruz and Simon Baz, which one's a Middle Eastern native and another one is Hispanic descent. But both of them will be like the main characters for this. Well, Justice League number 50 is the first time Jessica Cruz becomes a Green Lantern, and it right now it's worth it says about $12, but when she gets announced as being the main character, which I get all these through an app that tells like speculative stuff.
What's that app?
Key Collector, which I think it's like $1 a month. So
yeah, that's.
But I mean,
that's highway robbery.
Yeah,
I'm not giving people $1.
The next one is the free comic book day. So this was a free comic back in 2011. It was the New 52 #1, which he's Simon Baz. It's his first appearance, like first full appearance in the comics.
Okay.
So this comic was free. It's worth about $12 right now. But like I said,
worth nothing,
yes,
to $12,
and that's just him being in the comics. When the show comes out and he's announced as being an official character, it'll definitely go up. And then you have anybody that's into comics currently knows that Ultimate Fallout #4 is probably one of the most expensive comics right now because it says $385 right here.
As the high price for what it's worth. I'm guessing for a quality issue.
That's a very low estimate if you look at eBay. I've seen some of this is the first edition. I've seen some of those go for $600 without being in the.
What's so special about that one?
This is the first appearance of Miles Morales, which he's the Black Spider-Man that was in the most
Into the Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse, yes. This is his first appearance. And
great movie.
I mean, honestly, I recently had 2 of the second edition copies. I bought both of them for $9 a piece, and I sold. Together, I think I sold one for $130 and one for $150.
That's a pretty big return.
I bought them in April and I sold them in June.
That's a very quick turnaround.
Because it was announced that he's going to have his own PlayStation game, or it's announced he's going to be in a PlayStation game.
Okay, so Sony's going to come out with one. Okay,
I don't know if it's going to be just him in the game or it's going to be him as a DLC part of the game or what. But he was announced for this game, and as soon as they did, all the comics started going up. So I sold the second print, which is like a second edition for.
Should have held on to it for a couple more months.
Well, essentially, I sold them for 11 times what I bought them for.
That's still pretty good, though.
So,
I mean, $12 versus $150 in your pocket.
Yeah,
I think for like a 2-month wait,
right?
That's pretty good.
And I bought him just because it was his first appearance. I like to collect those kind of comics where it's a first appearance or a major event that happens in the comic.
We're providing actual consumer advice.
This
is ridiculous. What happened to us?
But it's worth a good bit, especially some of the great high graded copies I've seen of the first edition have been selling for $1,000, and people are buying them.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a good chunk of change. Then the new Disney Plus for the Falcon and Winter Soldier is what it's called. Even though it got delayed again, so it's not coming out in August. But there's been rumors that Omega Red, which is a villain from X-Men #4 from the 90s series, supposedly he's going to be in it. And I've got 2 copies of it. One I bought for $9. The other one I bought from a comic book store the other day for $2.50. And they're both in pretty good shape, but they're worth about $20 right now. Well, it's been speculated that they've seen stuff that alludes to him on set, and if he shows up in a Disney Plus TV series, he'll be the first mutant in the MCU, a first official one. Even though Scarlet Witch is technically a mutant, and so was Quicksilver. But
let's not let the facts get in the way.
They don't consider them mutants for the TVs and movies, but if it becomes confirmed that Omega Red is a character, I'm sure this will skyrocket. I mean, it's worth, if you get it graded, it's worth about 130, 150, somewhere in there. So as long as it's in good condition. But
that's not bad.
yeah, I like to collect comics, and I look out for stuff like that, especially through that Key Collector app. It tells you like, hey, this character's been rumored. Like they've rumored that Ghost Rider's going to get maybe its own TV series or movie.
Is Nick Cage going to play?
No. Constantine is more than likely going to return in the Justice League Dark, and
I doubt it'll be Keanu Reeves.
they said that they've been talking to him, trying to work something out. But
Because I want like
that's just
John
a-
Wick Keanu Reeves now, not
that-
like
yeah, it's
back then Keanu Reeves. I want John Wick Reeves.
it's just a rumor, but I would imagine the character's at least going to appear in the Justice League Dark, whether it be Keanu Reeves or not. He's like the leader of that team, so I would assume he would be the one in it.
Interesting.
But that's all I have for that.
Sweet. So if you like comic books or collecting memorabilia, I think everybody does in their own way. Everybody has that one little niche item that they're kind of all about. And like, even if you see stuff and you got a little money to play around with, it's like, buy it.
Yeah.
Play with it.
I mean, you never know what it'll be worth later on.
Because that's the greater part about being an adult now is I have the money to buy this cool stuff.
Yeah.
That I really wish I had back then. But I mean, back then I probably wouldn't have appreciated it as much. I mean, I would play with it until I broke it.
I mean, because you
But
can
now it's like, I see it and I'm just like, I can own that.
I mean, if you have some of the old comics, they don't even have to have anything special happen in the comic, and they'll still be worth around $500 if they're from like the original, like the first 100 or so.
Can you get
of
your comic
Spider-Man
books
stuff.
appraised on that app?
Not on the app. I mean, you could look and you kind of appraise it yourself, and they give you a kind of what it would be worth if it was appraised at this. But you can send them off to the CGC or I think it's CBCS. You can send them to those. They'll grade them, and then they'll let you know what the grades are. And then you can decide whether you want it put in the hard plastic. I mean, you have to pay for it, but I mean,
So if you got a bunch of old comic books laying around, check it out. See, you never know how much money you really got worth.
or if you just have a bunch of comics you don't want, I will gladly take them just to see.
We're going to move
Just saying.
on a little bit here to our next section, which is the Facebook comments. So what was an idea I had was to do a
Indiana Jones and
using autofill, finish the movie title, Indiana Jones and ... The best ones will be featured on episode 23. So this is episode 23. I was right. I thought I was going to be wrong.
wait, what?
Yeah, this is episode 23.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
I said it earlier, and I was like, is it 23? For all I know, it could have been 24, 28, 30. It's all blurring together.
It is 23 though. Yes.
So some of the comments we saw that I thought were good, I'm going to read off of mine first just because I was the first one to comment because I had nothing else to do.
because he posted it. That's why
Because I
it's
posted it. It says, Indiana Jones in the day I got to poop. This one from Miguel, Indiana Jones and the kids will be there. But what was great was he put that up, and I put the gif of Indiana Jones running, and like all the guys chased him from Raiders of the Lost Ark like a bunch of little kids.
very accurate.
Indiana Jones and the AARP Brigade, which is kind of a tongue-in-cheek kind of joke. Indiana Jones in the day we got yelled at by a lot more than the people. It's like, huh. Indiana Jones in the police station. And then the comments like, it belongs in a museum. It's like, sir, what you did was theft. You burglarized this place. Indiana Jones and the other man in the hammock. You're just having too much fun with that button.
I just know Hayden's gonna hate it.
Indiana Jones and this time is the last time, which is, I hope, what they titled the new movie. Seriously, it's like, stop. It's like, what is it going to be? Indiana Jones and the Escape from the Retirement Home?
He's yeah. If he takes another fall, he's not getting up.
I mean, Harrison Ford, I mean, the guy's gotten knocked around. I mean, it's just like, God, it's like, somebody put him, like, wrap him in bubble wrap when he's out there. Like, get a stunt double, get something for this man.
I'm just saying, he's getting up there.
Indiana Jones and the other State Farm officials are the problem.
Oh, yeah, that was me. I don't know why that came up.
No, that was entertain this, sir.
Yeah, it was entertain this. Yeah,
Sir, I'm just going to let you know.
yeah, that's what I meant.
Indiana Jones and how I want to get you to do it. There's no bounce chicka chicka wow wow. And that was from Steven. Indiana Jones. I still think I think Indiana Jones in this time is the last time. Is like, it's funny and it's a funny autofill, but it's also pretty
Accurate.
Like, please, please stop making this movie. What we're thinking about doing in the future is doing a Facebook post where we take the funniest comments, and then whichever one we vote on or whichever ones you guys vote on is the funniest one that we want to get the most likes gets a gift card.
Sounds like a plan.
Which we're going to start trying to do every couple weeks because we're not made of money. Can't just be shelling out Amazon gift cards to people left and right like it's candy.
We do have one in waiting that nobody commented on, so we'll have to do a whole new.
We're just going to repurpose that and make that happen.
I say nobody comment. Nobody did it correctly, mother.
Of Destiny. So I'm going to pull up the wheel and Hayden.
Yeah,
it was Hayden. It said Hayden. We all know it did.
Yep, I saw it.
It said Hayden.
I seen it. So did all of you. You all saw it.
You're witnesses to this fact. So, Mitch, what's Hayden's punishment?
I'm pretty sure it's going to be killing American style.
What is killing American style for those watching at home?
It is made in the vein of Samurai Cop.
I think it's made by the people who made Samurai Cop.
I think so. It's got the guy with the
jaw implants.
Yeah, the jaw implants.
His middle name has to be Lockjaw or something.
Yeah, it's really
is
bad.
It like a voiceover, or it's like
it looks
the old
like
narration.
Yeah,
in a world where people, something like that.
Yeah,
all I hear is crappy late '80s music. Tire screech, gunfire.
You got people dancing in a wrestling ring, people fighting in a diner.
Oh,
now some random girl dancing.
80s America. People.
You're under arrest.
Is he a bad guy?
I don't know.
I'm so confused by the role these characters are playing. Just because from the trailer, you don't know if they're good or bad. It's like everybody's very ambiguous.
You got two girls in bikinis watching this little kid do karate moves.
It's like, oh, that's pretty good. And it's like, no, it's not. No, it's not.
Yeah, Hayden.
Have fun.
Don't miss days.
And as for those of you who have been listening, we all know Hayden hates Samurai Cop with a burning passion.
So this will be wonderful.
Which was funny because we made him watch the first one and we made him watch the second one. There's no third one, so we found a movie made by the people that made the first one because that'll just have to do for now.
It's got some of the same actors, so he'll love it.
The Lockjaw, he's going to be thrilled. So tune in next week. Press it.
Yay!
And this is like one of the first times you've avoided it completely. There was no chance you were.
Yeah, there was no chance I was going to.
This was decided like days ago. We were just going to do this to him because he's not here to contest it. There's nothing that can happen, and this is going to come out, and he's going to listen to it and go, "I hate you guys. I'm not watching it."
Yeah, we're not telling him until it comes out on that Monday, and he listens, and then he'll know. So he'll have fun with that.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. I can't wait to listen to it. I can't wait to see his reaction when he finds out.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what I'm looking forward to.
What do you think of your punishment, Hayden? Exactly.
Damn it. There it is. Labels. Labels, Mitch. We need labels. Or just like, I need to like diagram it out and just write, that's this.
Yeah.
It's one of these does a thing. But anyway, plug our social media stuff real quick. Check us out on Twitch at entertain_this. Check us out on Facebook at the Entertain This Podcast group. Check us out on Twitter. Check us out on Instagram. Check us out at work. Check us out on the street.
And YouTube.
We are on YouTube. I forget about YouTube.
Me too.
We're also on MySpace. Mitch has a Grindr account, so we got all that covered.
Kickstarter,
Patreon. We also accept cash donations. If you mail it to me, you can put it in a manila envelope and hand it to me. I'll put it in a suit jacket pocket like a bad guy. Just for the mystery of it.
Bitcoin, Call of Duty
Bitcoin,
cash.
collectible Pokemon cards, engravings in stone,
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, you got a sword you don't need. We'll take it. We'll take all kinds of stuff.
We love charity.
We love charity. Charity. Free is for me. If you're all about it and you want to give us a slice of pizza, we don't care. If you want to throw a brick through Mitch's window, we don't care.
Well, we might care about that. Anyways,
I don't.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Will you?
Say bye, Mitch.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, Tom.
Bye, Hayden. He will be so mad. So that's going to be the best part about it.